modulator, and this product modulator will have the basis function. That basis function, it is represented as phi 1 of t, and this phi 1 of t we will be considering as cos 2 pi fct, AC into cos 2 pi fct. If I am replacing that cos 2 pi fct with this one 2 by TB into cos 2 pi fct in terms of power and energy, if I am placing, and that will be your S of t. It is an modulated signal, that is termed to be the BPSK signal. So this BPSK signal, since we are giving the two phases in an BPSK, and for two symbols in BPSK we will be considering two symbols 0 and 1. Whenever we, and since there are two symbols 0 and 1, two phases we are selected. Phase 1 is 0, phase 1 is 0, and phase 2 is here pi radians. So for symbol 1, whenever transmission of symbol 1 we are doing, we will be adding a phase of 0, and symbol 2, that is 0 symbol, when we are transmitting we are adding with a phase of pi radians. So whenever such a phase shifts you are adding to the, so that is what cos 2 pi fct, it is plus 0 for symbol 0, phase we are AC into, okay, for S1 of t, and S2 of t will be equal to AC into cos 2 pi fct plus pi. So when you are adding in this way the phase shifts, this is equal to AC cos 2 pi fct itself, and the second one will be equal to minus AC cos 2 pi fct. So this is what the two different signals we are going to derive from the okay, what is for the phase shift, binary phase shift keying. So with this, I think in the yesterday's class I was discussing till this point, and also I have written the waveforms. So now once the BPSK generation has been done and transmitted the signal, the receiver received signal, how it should be means, the receiver should consist of, the receiver should detect back this symbol 0 and symbol 1. So for that, the receiver block diagram, which is going to be x of t is given because this x of t along with the s of t along with the additive white Gaussian noise will be termed as your x of t, and this x of t when it is received, so receiver will have the first block to remove that carrier which has been added at the transmitter, and then it has to be time limited between 0 to TB seconds, and that is where your observation vector, your x1 you will be getting, and decision device, and this decision device will have a threshold value. I was explaining till this point in the previous class, and decision device can give two outputs based on this threshold value. Since we are using the bipolar, so in a bipolar we will be having negative value as well as positive value. The average of these two will be the threshold value. So this threshold value we have to consider. So therefore the threshold value leads to 0. And based on x1 value, if x1 is greater than 0, then symbol 1 will be decided. Symbol 1 is decided by the decision device, and if x1 value is lesser than 0, then symbol 0 will be decided. So this is what the BPSK receiver block diagram is. So this receiver block will consist of, because at the transmitter, what are the various operations we have applied to the signal? One, we have converted into a non-return to zero, that is encoded, and afterwards into a line coding signal, and then we have multiplied with the basis function. Whenever you go for this BPSK, it is an coherent detection. We are doing coherent detection. In an coherent detection, so whenever receiver we are considering, it is the coherent in nature. Coherent detection, when we do in an coherent detection, there are two blocks which are associated. One is the multiplier or the correlator, and the next device is the decision device. So when you go for this correlator is nothing but, already we have seen the correlator is your multiplier with the integrator. It is the correlator. So in a correlator, we will be using, because in a coherent detection, the transmitter and the receiver both will be synchronized. Hence, this receiver should have the same carrier which has been used at the transmitter. Hence, we are using this 5.5T as the same carrier which is matched with the product modulator of the transmitter, and which is supposed to be the block as first you need to use, which is the last technique that has been adopted at the transmitter for modification of, or for the modulation of the signal. The same block will be the initial stage at the receiving end. Hence, the receiving end consists of an product modulator along with an integrator forms the correlator. Now, this correlator, which correlates the received signal x of t with basis function 5.5T on a bit by bit basis. So this x of t, for bits it is changing. So what is your bit 0? Bit 0 as S2 of t we are transmitting, and bit 1 as we are transmitting as S1 of t. So therefore, for bit by bit, the x of t will be changing, and therefore this particular receiver received signal x of t with the basis function correlates bit whether bit 0 has been transmitted or bit 0 or 1 has been transmitted. If threshold value is exceeded, okay, the next circuit after the correlator, the next block, because it consists of correlator and decision device. If the correlator is considered, correlator consists of the modulator or the product multiplier with multiplier plus the integrator. You know that this integrator's function is to time limit. So what is the time limit? That is 0 to TB second. Time limit we are 0 to TB seconds. So therefore multiplier is used to time limit, and if you are going for the decision device, the next block of this is a decision device. This decision device, it will have a threshold value, and this threshold value, how do we calculate? For that you can consider the number of symbols. Number of symbols, threshold value calculation is based on this procedure, number of symbols. So in this case, how many number of symbols we have? 2 symbols. 2 symbols are used with how many voltages? 2 voltage levels. Which are the 2 voltage levels? It is one with root EB and the other one with minus root EB. The average value of these will be, average of it will be the threshold value. So therefore, based on this concept, the threshold value will be decided for this decision device. The function of this decision device is to compare. It does the following function. It compares the signal vector. Which is the signal vector now? Which is the signal vector? Students, you speak out. Are you there? Yes, are you there? Which is the signal vector we are supposed to consider here in the block diagram? Mala? Sridhar?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, which is the signal vector that is supposed to be compared with the threshold value? What is the function of this decision device? You're not listening, Mala? Mala?
Ma'am.
Yeah, you're not listening attentive to the class?
I'm listening, ma'am.
Then what is this decision device function? Can you elaborate me?
It divides the threshold voltage values, ma'am.
It?
It gives threshold values.
Hmm. Who can give me the answer, correct answer? Yeah, who can give me the answer?
Ma'am, if x1 is greater than 0, then symbol 1 is decided by the decision device. If x1 is less than 0, it will decide symbol 0.
Only Harshita has to answer for all the questions, or Bhumi Akka has to answer. What about the other students? Until I point out their names, students are not volunteering. Mala, what is the way in which you are listening the class? It is going to be difficult if you do like this. Yeah, compare signal vector x1 with threshold value. That is the function of your decision device. So based on the compared results of x1 with VTH or the threshold value, symbol 1 or symbol 0 or a decision device will take a favor in favor of symbol 0 or symbol 1's decision, whether it is symbol 0 or symbol 1. When means I've already told, if the vector signal vector is greater than 0, symbol 1 will be decided if it is, and how that particular threshold which is going to be calculated, that also I have explained. Okay, now after the decision device takes a decision, so you will be deciding whether symbol 1 or symbol 0 it is received with respect to the transmitted signal. Now the another important point here we have to discuss is that the signal space, because ultimately this BPS case, probability of error and signal to noise ratio we need to compute. Whenever we go for this signal to noise ratio and the probability of error, we know that for any receiver, maximum signal to noise ratio should be there and minimum probability of error should be there. So based since these are the two parameters which decides how much is the efficiency of an receiver. So for that, the analysis of the probability of error and the signal to noise ratio has to be done for all the modulation techniques. So to start with that analysis, first we will be going for signal space diagram of binary phase shift keying. So BPSK, binary phase shift keying. What do you mean by this signal space diagram? Means it is the signal's representation in a space. So along with which is the plot between the signal vectors and the basis functions which we will be choosing during the modulations. So whenever we go for this signal space diagram, so this signal space diagram, first we will start with in how many pair of signals we have considered in BPSK. In BPSK, pair of signals. How many pair of signals we have considered in BPSK for the transmission? Be interactive. In BPSK, pair of signals we have considered for as S1 of t and S2 of t to represent which symbols? To represent
0 and 1.
0 and 1. So therefore, you can write this S1 of t as equal to 2 into P. P I'll replace with EB by TB into cos 2 pi FCT. This is for what? This is for symbol 0. And this symbol 0, it is within the duration of 0 to TB seconds. And S2 of t analytically I can represent as minus root of 2EB by TB into cos 2 pi FCT. So already you know that this minus negative sign, how did we got? By adding a phase shift of pi radians to the signal. Okay, where TB represents, this is also limited between 0 to TB seconds only, and this TB is nothing but duration of symbol, and EB represents what? Energy per bit. Okay, energy per bit, that is what the EB representation. Now when you represent, because ultimately we have to go for the basis functions in terms of signal vectors to replace in a signal space diagram. So therefore we have to replace the two equations in terms of basis functions. So therefore the basis functions, the basis function
Is overlapping.
of, yes ma?
It is overlapping.
So therefore the basis function has to be in signal space diagram. We know that it is a representation of the signal vectors with the basis functions. So you have two functions, one as S1 of t and S2 of t. So that S1 of t and S2 of t completely you separate in terms of the component signal vector as well as the basis function. So for that we are following the following procedure. The basis function of unit energy for symbol 0 and symbol 1 you will be representing as phi1 of t as equal to root of 2 by TB into cos 2 pi FCT. And if you are in whenever we go for the basis function, let the basis function phi1 of t in our expression be equal to root of 2 by TB cos 2 pi FCT, which is time limited between 0 to TB seconds. So now represent S1 of t and S2 of t in terms of phi 1. Representing S1 of t and S2 of t in terms of phi 1 of t. Can you tell me what is this phi 1 of t? Sorry, S1 of t in terms of phi 1 of t. It is root EB into cos phi 1 of t. Similarly, you can say that your S2 of t it is equal to minus root EB into phi 2 of t, which is equal to S11 into phi 1 of t. It is S21 into phi 2 of phi 1 of t. Whenever you look at this particular signals in terms of basis functions, how many basis functions you have in the equation? How many basis functions? How many basis functions?
2.
Which are the two?
Phi 1 of t, phi 2 of. Oh, sorry, one. It's 1, ma'am.
It is only one basis
Yeah.
function, right? So
Yeah.
therefore, here when you observe this equation 1 and 2, we have only one basis function. One basis function. So how many dimensional one basis function? Hence, signal space diagram is one dimensional. Okay, so this one dimensional signal space, how do we represent? Consists of two, one dimensional signal space diagram having how many messages? Having two messages. So two messages which are represented as equal to M2, N as equal to 1. This is what you have to consider. So therefore, now we have to find out the coordinates of two message points. The two message points coordinates are computed as follows. Are S11 it is equal to 0 to TB, S1 of t into phi 1 of t into dt, that is equal to how much? Plus root EB. Okay, then S21 it is 0 to TB S2 of t into phi 2 of t into dt, that is equal to minus root EB. Why I have chosen this as an S21? Because in a signal space diagram, if you are considering this plus root EB, it is in the first coordinate, first quadrant, and if you go for the S21, it is the second signals with one single basis function. So therefore, your S11 is located at root EB, S21 located at minus root EB. So therefore, signal space constellation diagram, if you are writing, it is as follows. How many basis functions? We have only one basis function, that is phi 1 of t, having two message points. Which are the two message points? One it is at plus root EB and the another one it is at minus root EB. When plus EB and minus EB, when you are representing, one will be on the x-axis, plus x-axis, and the other one will be on the next negative axis of x. So now message point, there is some threshold point. This threshold point in the decision device will decide whether symbol 1 or symbol 0. So therefore decision boundary, it is 0 in case of your BPSK. So message point 1, it is at plus root EB, and message point 2, it is at minus root EB. Whenever and from wherever the message point, point 1 is located, it is termed to be the region Z1. And this is termed to be region Z2. Okay. Now, this signal space diagram, it is representing the complete signal as well as its basis function with coordinates. So let me represent how this S2 of t will be transmitted. So here minus, it will start with minus root EB by TB at plus root EB by TB. Okay, it should, because negative sign, so it will start with negative, it will be going like this, cosine wave. And similarly, when the message point 2 you are considering, this is also a cosine wave, and this cosine wave having plus root EB by TB and EB by 2 EB by TB having minus. Since the message point having positive sign, cosine wave means it should start with higher value and it should go towards the minimum value. So therefore, these are the signal space diagrams we will be using for the representation of BPSK signal. Is it clear, students? One minute. Moving on to the next, because probability of error and signal to noise ratio, when you want to compute, you need to find out what is the power spectral density of this particular BPSK signal. Next is bandwidth of BPSK signal. Okay, whenever you start the computation of bandwidth of any BPSK signal, the spectrum of the signal we need to find out. So spectrum of BPSK signal we need to find out. BPSK signal is centered around carrier frequency. Which is the carrier frequency? FC. Okay. So whenever we go for this particular spectrum to plot for this BPSK, here FB, it is the frequency of per bit that is represented as the 1 by TB is the maximum frequency of message signal or baseband signal. So now this baseband signal, which is centering around the carrier frequency FC, so therefore the power spectral density function of this BPSK signal, you can represent it. This derivation anyhow it is not there. It is an qualitative analysis only. So therefore, your power spectral density of BPSK signal is given as S of F, which is representing BPSK. It is equal to P into TB by 2. So you have two functions, sin pi F minus F naught TB divided by pi F minus F naught TB plus, this is whole square, plus sin pi F plus F naught TB divided by pi F plus F naught TB whole square. So that is what the power spectral density of your BPSK signal. If you are simplifying further this one, P into TB by 2, which is sin pi by pi theta by pi theta is what? Sin square F minus F naught into TB or FC, okay, plus sin square F plus FC into TB. This is what you can say, that is the actual power spectral density of your BPSK signal, that is S of F. When it is plotted, plots will be like this. If I take this as an FC and the another one as minus FC, so sinc function, it is centered for symbol 0 and symbol 1. So this is at FC, this is also at FC, and the side lobes like this. Okay, now this FC is, since the signal has an bandwidth of FB, so FC minus FC plus FB, this is minus FC minus FB. Here FC, this will be FC plus FB, and here FC minus FB. That is complete bandwidth. When you are calculating for any of the symbol, this will give only FB here. Okay, that is what the bandwidth of your signal. How much is this bandwidth you need to find out? So this is the S power spectral density of BPSK. From this particular diagram, find out the bandwidth. When bandwidth computation we are doing based on main lobe itself, based on main lobe. What is the main lobe width? So FC minus FB plus, what is this? How do you compute bandwidth? Students. So bandwidth will be by general, in general, bandwidth will be equal to upper frequency minus lower frequency. What is the upper frequency? Lower frequency, this is FU and this is FL. So what is that equal to? Bandwidth FC plus FB minus FC minus FB. So therefore that is equal to FC plus FB minus FC plus FB, which is equal to 2FB. That is what the bandwidth of your BPSK signal. Okay, now a simple problem let us take at this point. Determine the minimum bandwidth for a BPSK modulator with a carrier frequency of 40 MHz and transmitted with a input bit rate of 50 kilobits per second. So small problem based on this whatever we discussed so far. Problem 1. It is BPSK bandwidth is given 500 kilobits per second. So it is nothing but 500 kilohertz. So bandwidth is equal to 2FB. So therefore, if you are computing FB, you know what is that? That is equal to 1000 kilohertz bandwidth, or bandwidth of BPSK. It is equal to 1 megahertz. So this is how you can compute your bandwidth. In the next class, I'll go for the computation of probability of error for BPSK. That is a lengthy derivation. So therefore, that I'll continue in the next class. After BPSK, we have to go for frequency shift keying. One minute.